People often ask me advice about how to get into telly and stuff, and I always say, don't forget the telly. You're unlikely to get into telly. It's so tiny. Just do your own thing and be the best at it. And if TV comes a knocking, it will, because that's what happened to me. So the only advice I can give is just do it.
Yeah.
But even when I was a kid, when I made Josh, for example, it was never a hobby, this. I always did it with the intention of it being a job. It was always the intention of it being a career for me to do forever. It wasn't just a hobby, then I could do something. Do you know what I mean? It was always in the mind to do it as a living.
Welcome back to Puppeteers. We're your hosts, Adam Krutinger
and Cameron Garrity.
And today we're talking to Phil Fletcher. Welcome to the show, Phil Fletcher. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. It's a clear line. I'm in England. It's like you're in the room.
The magic of technology.
Amazing.
That's right.
Well, for anybody who doesn't know, Phil Fletcher is just an incredible puppeteer and puppet builder over across the pond in England, and does a lot of work with the Seabees, and is just a prolific puppet builder as well. We're so excited to talk to him. Phil Fletcher, welcome to Puppeteers.
Thank you for having me. I assume I'm the bottom of the list.
No. Well, yeah, I mentioned earlier, you are a highly requested guest for the show. So,
well, I thank you, and I have taken the precaution of taking the lenses out of my glasses for the reflection. The stars I mean to go on. That's my motto.
That's
a quick nip of the old beer.
Oh,
it's
my God.
I'm just jealous. It's only 10 in the morning here for us, and
well, I did start drinking at 10 this morning, so
perfect. Well, something we like to ask everybody at the beginning is just, what are you working on right now?
I'm continually doing CBBC, doing Hack of the Dog. I do that every day. I do the live television Monday to Friday between the programs in the afternoons. And because it's getting close to Christmas, I've got quite a bit on. I'm filming, I've just done a concert with the Philharmonic with Warwick, who plays Dodge, who's Hacker's brother. I'm doing a Christmas light switch on next Tuesday. I'm doing a Christmas Day radio show, pre-record next Wednesday. Oh no, I caught me what's names then. Sorry, guys. I keep that in. I like that. Keeps it real.
Yeah, absolutely.
And next Thursday, I'm filming a show where I'm playing a goose.
As a puppet, or as you and
as a puppet, yeah. And in the afternoon, in the same day, I'm filming an episode of Blue Peter as Hacker. And Blue Peter's the longest running kids show on the planet, I think. It's been running for about 60 years. Have you heard of Blue Peter?
I've not, no.
No, it's in England.
But
I'm doing that on Thursday. It's busy.
Yeah, I'll say. Oh my gosh.
I'm struggling to fit in the drinking, if I'm honest.
Is that
I'm making it work.
The liquid courage for being on live television.
Yes, that's it. Yes, I'll use that next time the authorities get involved.
Yeah,
I've kicked it again. I keep kicking this tripod. It's me daft legs. Back in the room.
Great.
Busy.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And so, can you describe a little bit about just like what because I know you're live a lot with Hacker and Dodge. Can you just describe a little bit of sort of the technical elements of that? And was that your first experience doing live television?
Yes, it was. I first started doing Hacker about 12 years ago. And I've been live ever since. We do live Monday to Friday. So it's great because you always know when it ends with live. You never overrun with live telly because it has an end time, which is great. You can get home in time for the quiz shows, which I quite enjoy watching. But that's the great thing about live telly. But no, I'd never done live telly prior to doing Hacker. I'd done a few little bits of telly with puppets and stuff over the years, but I've never really done much prior to Hacker. I've mainly done cabaret. I was live cabaret for years.
Over the course of doing that for 12 years, has that process changed a lot for you?
Well, it's easier, I think. I don't give it any thought. I rock up about half an hour before we go live, and then I leave again. I don't give it any thought anymore, which I think adds to it because you can get a bit caught up in it sometimes. And Hacker's better when he's free. Yeah. So I never do any prep. Wow. I read your sheet. I never read a sheet.
The first time for everything.
Yeah, we get given when we turn up, we get given the scripts as we rock in. We read them. We do a couple of rehearsals, but I generally just cold read them with Hacker on. So I'm with the monitor situation. I'm watching the monitor, cold reading, and then we go live. And then the script more or less goes out of the window then, and we ad lib. And if something goes a bit wrong, or if the presenter messes up a line, I'll just go off on a tangent, make up a daft joke to make the gallery annoyed. All those sort of things.
That's amazing. That's really,
It's so
we don't do
exciting.
that in America at all, right? There's
I-
nothing like that. Not at least not with puppets. I mean, right?
Very little. I think Sprout, the PBS sort of cable channel,
okay.
did a little bit of that, but I mean nothing like what you guys
Even
are doing.
SNL is probably more scripted than this. It sounds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're
I
very
would say so.
very
Yeah.
free. We're very free because we're live. If you do a read through and things aren't working, because I don't write the script, I'm just giving them. But they're often very loose because they know we can ad lib round it. But when you go live, you can do whatever you want because you're live. You can't be stopped.
Right.
You can't do a second take. It's brilliant. It's terrifying for the gallery. Going, oh God, what's he going to do now? I
And
like
so,
that.
doing a character now for 12 years, how much, does the character just take over, and
Yeah, it
versus
takes over.
you feeling
Yeah.
like that you have any charge over or control of the situation?
It is a weird thing. You more or less, the character does take over you. You never have to think what would Hacker do. It just happens. It's weird that, but if you do live telly every day for 12 years, you're racking up some hours of output there. Not
Right.
many people do that much telly. It's a
No,
lot of
no.
telly. It's like what do? We do roughly, it's about 18 minutes a day of live telly, which racks up over the years as a lot of output.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
holy cow.
We do like 2.5, 3 minutes between the shows. So it's all the bits between that was that was that. Coming up next is this, but now here's 2 minutes of nonsense.
Mhm.
And we just get kids to email in, we get kids on the phone, and they can say anything. So it's great. The best job in the world, I do. It's the best, and I do 2.5 hours a day.
Yeah. Oh, that's
What a shift! What a shift!
What a shift. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. How did that all come to fruition? How did that start?
Years ago, I was a touring puppet cabaret. So I did my own live shows with Lab Rat and all those old characters I used to do. And I had a big booth. I would tour the country doing holiday camps, parks and theme parks and all that sort of thing. I did that for years and years. And then when YouTube was new, I started doing YouTube videos, little nonsense ones with a crap webcam, just low quality puppety things. And the CBBC saw it and they just got in touch to come in and audition for Hacker. I think that's right. Or Warwick was already working there as Outcho, and he said that, what the hell happened? I can't remember now. It was something like that. I think that's how it happened.
Yeah.
And I went down and got the job, and I've been there ever since. It was only a 4-month gig originally. It was a 4-month fill-in gig while Warwick was off doing a series. But in that 4 months, me and Ian, the presenter I was put with, did really well, and we got nominated for a BAFTA really early on, and then they sort of kept us on. I've been there ever since.
So a 4-month gig turned into a 12-year
12
gig.
years.
Oh
And
my
still going
God.
strong.
And still going. Wow.
Think
Oh
of all
my
the
God.
bunts.
Yeah.
So I'm a little surprised to hear that. So you were the YouTube video thing that you did, that wasn't Hacker.
No, it was previous. I did
Wow.
my old Glovitz, which was my live
Yes.
show name, which I've been doing since I was 11. I started doing
Oh, wow.
puppets when I was a little kid, and I started making cloth puppets when I was 11 because we got a sewing machine. And then I started doing live kids' birthday parties for kids who weren't much younger than I was at the time. It's mad, really, when you think back.
Yeah.
But
Did
this was
you
all
make?
pre-internet? Yeah, I made everything. Yeah.
No. Did you make a Hacker too? And
I didn't make Hacker. No, Hacker already existed. He was in a show called Scoop, which was like a short-lived kids show that went under the radar. And it was performed by Andy Heath. I don't know if you know Andy. He's a British
yeah.
puppeteer who does a lot of stuff. He was in The Dark Crystal and what have you. And then they recast him because in that show, Hacker didn't speak. So they didn't have any sort of need to bring Andy back per se. And plus he was working on Mongrels, Andy. So he wasn't free, I think. I didn't really speak to him about it. So I went in and took over and I've done it ever since. But it was built by Neil Sterenberg, who played the Scroll Keeper in the Age of Resistance.
now over 12 years of being performed every single day, is that the same puppet? Is it holding up?
Oh God, no, there's been 15.
Oh my
one a year,
gosh.
huh?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
about.
just about. Yeah, we well, you know, they were out. If you're using it every day, it wears out around the mouth. The sweat doesn't do them any good.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Right.
So they just have done it again with this stupid thing. The sweat doesn't do it any good, and they fall apart.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm not particularly gentle with Hacker. He's a rough character. Have you seen any stuff with him?
Oh,
yeah.
of course, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
There's 12 years worth of stuff to see of
There's
him.
too much.
That's
Too
right.
much
Wow.
stuff. But yeah, so he was out, but which is good for Neil.
Yeah.
Right.
Keeps Neil in work. So he rings me up to me. Can you just pull Hacker's arm off? Yeah, of course I can. Bit of short on money this year. Can you pull his eyes out? Yeah, can you? Cheers, Neil.
Job security.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you actually have?
He won't be watching this. He won't be watching this.
Do you? Because I have seen stuff with Hacker. Of course, I haven't seen near as much as what you've produced. Do you have like other versions of him for different scenarios though, to be able to do some effects or something?
We have a green screen version, which you put your hand in the back of the head and the body dangles down and he's got green rods on. But we don't really use that really because we're live. It's not the sort of thing we need really. And there is a stunt one that's like got this stuff that we can throw through frame. But that is like roadkill. It doesn't like Hacker really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But as it flies through shot, it doesn't look too bad. But we never
Right.
really use those. It's always just the normal rodded hand puppet. And I'm normally here, there and everywhere interviewing God knows who. The last thing I did before the lockdown was an interview with Jim Curry from the films. And then lockdown happened. So I've not really interviewed any big stars since, but I've done a few big actors and things.
Yeah, I was looking through your Instagram. I saw you with a picture with Jim Carrey, which is one of my idols.
Yeah, mine too as well. I never get starstruck really with people because most people Hacker gets sent to interview I've never heard of.
Yeah.
So they just a bloke. I don't know, like a wrestler or something. But Jim Curry was great because I'm a fan of Jim Curry. Yeah. So then you sort of think that's a different thing. That's never happened to me in the 12 years. I've never really been given someone who I actually am a fan of. So I was great. That he was lovely.
Yeah.
But only did about a minute and a half with him. It wasn't a great amount of time, but you don't get that really. It's mad.
Right.
No, that's amazing. Another one I saw too is The Rock. Who is huge now too. That's remarkable. Wow.
We did The Rock, Jack Black, and Kevin Hart because they were promoting Jumanji. I think it was.
Wow.
Well, it would have been. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
So I interviewed those guys. I interviewed Benedict Cumberbatch when he was promoting The Grinch.
Mm.
Who else was it? Oh, John Cena. I've interviewed a couple of times. The wrestler.
Yeah.
And now, do you
Crazy.
get much of any time to like meet them as a human actor?
I never meet them.
Yeah.
Never meet them before, and I always prefer that. I never meet them. Actually, I rarely even give them eye contact 'cause I'm always looking down at the monitor.
Sure.
So they only ever see the top of my lovely northern hair. So it's always this. So in fact, I never give them. Yeah, I never speak to them as me at all. Sorry. All right, Jim Carrey, what are you up to? Oh yeah, I like your film. See ya. Thank you. Was the check?
Right. No, but it does have to be a little difficult. I mean, especially in a situation like Jim Carrey, where like you maybe would have liked to have words with him to like thank him.
That would have been nice. But you've no time on that
Sure.
one. His press people came out before saying, right, Jim is going to do 3 stops on this line of people. He'll do that one, he'll do you, and he'll do that one. And in between those 3 stops, there was like 10 or 12 journalists who didn't get Jim Carrey. He did 3. And the beauty of Hacker or a puppet in general is you probably will get some time because it's a bit different. So everyone else will ask him the same questions. And doing a puppet there, you're more like it. So you got access with puppets generally. A lot of people didn't get Jim that day because there was no time. Bang, bang, gone.
Yeah.
And they just have to linger with a puppet. So you can sort of drag your time out a little bit more with the puppet because it's a bit more interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Holy cow.
It was great. Like, you'd love to meet him. He's great. And I blagged a selfie. You always blag a selfie with them. So my hand comes up to do a selfie with Hacker. You got to get the selfie for Instagram, haven't you?
Absolutely. It's important.
It's what it's all about now.
Yeah,
No one
big time.
watches telly anymore.
No.
God.
Pixar didn't happen, right?
Well, I want to go back a little bit because you said 4 months. At what point did they realize that this is going to be essentially for as long as it has been? Like, is there any? Yeah.
About 3.5 months into the 4-month contract, me and Ian who was my co-presenter, who's gone on to do brilliant things, by the way. He presents loads of shows now in the UK, Love Island and stuff. He's doing really well. We were just sat in the office and we thought, hold on a minute. We are going to be chucked out of here in 2 weeks, and no one's come and told us if they're going to renew our contract or anything. So I went in the office and asked the guy, I said, I need to find out if they're going to keep us on, because I need to get out of my flat. Because we had to move to London. We worked in TV Centre, which is the most iconic television studio on the earth. Do you know what I mean? Where they made all the big shows in England, like Morecambe and Wise and stuff, and extras, in fact. So I went in the guy's office and said, are you going to keep us on? Because I've got to get out of this flat. He goes, oh, yeah, we'll extend your contract. Yeah, bang. And that was it. It literally is as easy as it was. If I'd not have gone in, I don't say I would have left.
Yeah, well, I'm still just in shock, because like shows, it's not common for shows to last that long.
No, it's unheard of. But we're not shows. We do the bits in between the shows. So the shows come and go.
Yeah.
Now, Hacker does have his own shows as well. We do Hacker Time, which is a chat show, which I did 6 series of. And we did Scoop, which I didn't do the first, but I did the next 2. So Hacker's done loads of shows, but the Prez, which is the continuity links between the shows, just goes on and on forever. The shows come and go. It's the best job.
I guess that's maybe my own. I didn't quite realize. I thought, because I've only seen like clips and stuff on social media and some stuff on YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah,
so I assumed I was seeing clips.
Doesn't go on and telly across. You don't see what I was showing. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So I thought that I was seeing clips of a show, but yeah, you're really more of like a host then, right? Okay.
Yeah, you sort of you're anchoring. It's like a 2.5 hour slot, and within that slot there are 30-minute shows and 15-minute shows, and we are just the bits in between. But we don't just say there's that and this is this. We more or less can do a storyline throughout the afternoon, or we can do an email sending or whatever. Do a few songs, mess about, nearly get sacked, all that sort of thing.
I can imagine that there must be, especially people who get to watch it on their television daily, there must be a huge demand for this character in some way. Has there been people like who've been like asking for Hacker to have a movie or something like that?
Yeah, we did do that. Yes, a lot of that sort of thing does happen. We get tons of requests for Hacker to do X, Y, Z. Someone did write a pitch for a film, Hacker the movie, which would be like a road movie, but it didn't go any further than the writing stage. But we just get tons of things like that. It's weird. There's always something. It never ends. It's the best job.
Yeah. Wow. Is it really all year long too? Or is it seasonal in any sense?
I do 200 days a year as Hacker on CBBC, and that is just the live afternoon stuff, and that doesn't include me doing the Blue Peter things, or the other shoots, or the light switch on, or all the other things that surround keeping that character going. So his YouTube channel is also a separate job. So we need to do like a YouTube video a week. So I was doing music videos for that. I was doing interview videos and junkets and stuff for that. So there's always a Hacker thing. It's a non-stop juggernaut of hackerness that never ends. It's brilliant.
Well,
pays the mortgage.
Yeah, for sure. And the DVD collection.
And the beer.
I'm curious though, how did the lockdown through this last year end up impacting how you guys went about producing all the bits that you do?
We didn't lose any work. We ended up working from home. So I basically set up in my garage, which is the workshop, which you might see on Instagram. I'd have done it from that, but there's not the Wi-Fi wouldn't have been as good. So you couldn't have done this from there. But I set up a little studio in there, and I filmed all the links on my phone. So I had a printout of Hacker's Kennel, which I put behind him. And I just filmed everything at home on the iPhone and sent it in. And we did that for months. So we didn't lose any work.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Which was good, because a lot of people struggled during that time. It's not been great for the arts, I suppose.
Yeah.
But we blagged it as usual. My entire career has been a blag.
So they didn't send you any technology or anything?
No, nothing. Not a thing. I didn't even have a monitor. I use a mirror on a piece of coat hanger wire behind the camera as a monitor. So I can at least use
oh my God.
So I can at least use the best camera facing the puppet. On this, it's the selfie camera now.
Yeah.
Right.
But the other side's a better camera, isn't it?
Yeah.
So on that, so when I'm doing the Hacker stuff at home, I have the good camera facing Hacker and a mirror behind it on a piece of wire, coat hanger wire. So effectively, I'm looking at a reverse scan monitor, but normally I work straight scan.
Yeah.
In the studio. But it needs must.
Wow. Yeah.
And I could put a receipt in my tax for that coat hanger. So
right. Yeah.
That's
tax
a quid.
deductible
That's a
code
quid
here.
I'll claim
Oh my
back.
gosh.
Holy cow. Well, we would love to talk a little bit because we kind of scanned over your sort of upbringing. You mentioned you've been performing and building for almost your whole life. What
Too
were
long. It's madness.
but what were the early influences for you?
I started making puppets when I was a little kid. I can't remember why. I made a really old one. I made a Miss Piggy puppet out of envelopes when I was about 9. And I'll send you a picture of that to float in now.
Oh, great. There it
If you want
is.
to do that was a great picture, high def for the time. That was about 1980. That would have been about 1987, that 86, 87. And then we got a sewing machine. I started making puppets out of cloth, and more or less the same as I make to this very day. I can't remember why. I couldn't tell you why. I obviously was a fan of the Muppets, big fan of that, big fan of Rod, Hull and Emu and other things that we had in the UK. But beyond that, I don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah.
There was no internet or anything back then, so there was you couldn't show it to anybody. It was just you doing this stuff at home, just for your own amusement.
Right.
Yeah. Well, did
And
you
also,
No internet to like learn how like the real techniques or anything. So you're just
nothing.
figuring it all out by
Yeah.
yourself.
Self-taught. I've never been shown how to do anything puppet building wise, because there wasn't. In where I live in Hindley in Wigan, in the library there was no books about puppets or anything in our library.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just nothing you do, is it?
No.
It's just madness. I don't know why I do it. It's crazy. I'm glad I do it now.
Sure.
Did you use puppets much at school or anything, or how did people at school see what you were doing?
When I was at school, at that point I was still doing kids' parties, so I was already earning money doing puppet shows. So as far as I was concerned, I was semi-pro even as a kid, 11. I was earning money. I never told them really at school until I was towards the end of school, and I did some videos because I bought a camcorder with me cabaret money. Do you remember those huge camcorders you put full-size tapes in?
Oh yeah.
And you had it on your shoulder. I used to do puppet videos on that. And one day I did take a tape in and they showed it at school in art class or something. And they liked it, I think. But I've never really been one to care what people think, really, luckily.
Yeah. No, that's important.
It just washes over me. I don't value anybody else's opinion except mine.
No, that's important though.
It is. It's absolutely important.
It lets you, be your own artist.
Yeah.
So I'm self-taught with everything, really. It's just, this is the first puppet I've got it here. The first puppet I ever built was this one. I brought him up, Josh, that one.
Oh my gosh.
And he was
That's
made
beautiful.
in 1988, and I've still got him.
That's puppets as old as me.
Is he? You've aged better.
Yes. Looks like we have the same color hair.
Yeah. What's that? You're right. It's on a stand now, though, so you can't even get me hand in it. It's so little. But
Right.
I made this a long time ago, and that's the original. The only one I've kept really from that era.
But that's amazing. And what really is impressive about that is how much it still looks like the aesthetic of the characters that you have today. I mean, certainly now you've got more polish to the final product, but you could see the influences.
I said some would say I've not improved, but that's
no. But I'm sorry, that didn't sound like a compliment. But I'm
no,
just
I
really
took it as
impressed
one.
by it.
Okay. I always take everything as a compliment. You're crap. Thanks. But yes, because I've never been taught. You see, I still do things in the same way. You just do a neater edge. It's all the same bluff in the middle. I did these puppets. Have you seen these ones? The banana splits I did.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
I made those because I'm in a band called the Pound Shop Boys, which you may have heard of. No.
Yeah.
No. Yet. So, and we did a cover version of the Tra La La song. So I did all those for the music video, which has just hit over 1 million views on YouTube, by the way.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations! It's amazing.
We'll link it right here.
I only wish I'd have monetized it earlier on.
Yeah, for sure.
That would have been nice.
But money doesn't make you happy, so it doesn't matter.
Well, makes you feel a little better. It helps. It does.
Well, as they say, you can't buy happiness, but you can rent it.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Before we get too much in the puppet building, I did want to just hop back over to Glovitz. What exactly was that touring show that you did?
It was basically me doing a puppet show where I would lip sync songs. I'd do a story, possibly 3 little pigs or something. Anything you could do on your own. So you'd have a wolf on this hand. This hand would be a pig. You bring that pig down. You bring up the cardboard house. Bring up a different pig. Blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? Simple little kids thing. Then I do a Ghostbusters or something, lip syncing. Then another little bit of nonsense, which I did as a kid. And then when I started doing it full time, which would have been about 2002 or something, I went full time doing Glovett's tour in the country. I did 2,000 miles a week, traveling up and down, doing holiday parks, and then going back up the following. That was my life for years, and that was like ended up becoming like stand-up comedy with Labrat. So I'd be in the booth, but I'd be live mic'd, and I could see the audience through a one-way screen, and Labrat would be in front of it. So you could do all the ad-libby stuff and speak to the punters, then do a song or whatever. And I did that for years. And then TV rang up, said, come and do Hacker. I said, I don't want to. I don't want to go to London. And they said, don't be hasty. I said, all right, then I'll do it. I'll audition. And I got the job, and I never looked back. It's always fallen into my lap. I've got it's I don't know why. It's just been the entire career has been a fluke.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's more than that too, because I think that's an important thing to kind of talk about with people is, it's you've been preparing for something that you didn't know was going to be an opportunity. That's it's important. If you do good work, people will want to work with you.
Exactly. I've always said that. Yeah, always. People often ask me advice about how to get into telly and stuff, and I always say, don't forget the telly. You're unlikely to get into telly. It's so tiny. Just do your own thing and be the best at it. And if TV comes a knocking, it will, because that's what happened to me. So the only advice I can give is just do it.
Yeah.
But even when I was a kid, when I made Josh, for example, it was never a hobby, this. I always did it with the intention of it being a job. It was always the intention of it being a career for me to do forever. It wasn't just a hobby, then I could do something. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm, it was always in the mind to do it as a living, but not telly. I never sought out telly. I never aspired to do telly, because I always thought it's so limited, telly, I think. Sorry, it's not limited, but so tiny opportunities. Save your efforts and put it into something you can do the best. So I went into cabaret. I was the most booked puppet act in the UK for years. There was nobody else doing as much live work as I was in the UK. It just didn't happen.
Wow. Holy
then television just came along. I mean, it's as simple as that, really. But I don't know the secret to it, apart from do it. Do it.
And even just to point out again that the type of television puppetry you do is rare amongst television puppetry. Doing this live type of performance, like
it's unheard of. There are 2 full-time puppet jobs in the UK, and Warwick's got one, and I've got the other. There's just no others. I'm on the older kids channel, CBBC, and Warwick's on the preschool kids channel, CBeebies, and we're both doing the same job. He's Dodge the Dog, I'm Hacker. We do the bits between the shows. Only Dodge is pre-recorded, and we're live. It's only difference. But there's no other jobs. Most puppeteers in the UK are jobbing puppeteers.
Yeah.
You'll do an advert, then you'll do nothing, then you'll do a series possibly, then you'll do nothing. There's nobody else got a character that they do all the time.
Yeah. Now I'm sure you're so grateful for having that position, but do you ever kind of wish, does it ever kind of limit you from being able to do some other things that you'd kind of want to do?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I was a limit because I'm not bothered really, but yes, you often can't do stuff because you're not available. And then you've just got to work out what your priority is at that point.
Yeah. Even I was thinking, like, when I mentioned about like, would a Hacker movie ever come out? If a Hacker movie was to come out, like, you'd kind of have to stop doing the show for a while in order to do it.
And therefore, because I don't own Hacker, it's a BBC thing.
Yeah.
The decision would be by them what the priority is to do what the.
Yeah. Of course.
I'll be taken out of my hands. Literally taken out of my hands.
Wow. Holy cow.
But you do end up turning stuff down or not available to do a full. Sometimes people want you to do a full run of something and you can't do it. I did happen to do a few days on the Dark Crystal because I was free for a couple of weeks the month when they made that. But I couldn't do the full run because that would involve me being out of Hacker for 10 months, and that's just not happening.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No way. Wow.
Yeah. Then you've got to think as well, if you did take that chance, Hacker not being on for 10 months could be detrimental to him coming back potentially.
Yeah.
Because that's a long time to be out of someone's kid.
They could hire someone else for 4 months that ends up being there for 12 years.
Well, that's what happened to me, because as I said, Warwick went off to do another show. I got that gig to fill in, and then it never changed. So yeah, you could easily He was bumped off. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Holy
You gotta
cow.
think about that old mortgage.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wow.
Oh my
Holy
gosh.
cow. What's this like working with Warwick? I know he's
It's
done
great, yeah.
amazing things as well, and we can't
He
wait
has,
to have
yeah.
him on the show.
He's much more driven than I am, Warwick. You'll find he makes things happen. He has an idea for something. It will end up being a program.
Yeah.
There's no, do you know what I mean? He won't have it not succeeding. I'm far too lazy. I'll just wash up on the waves and just do whatever.
Yeah.
Which works for me, but I'm much older than Warwick, so I'm much closer to the grave. So at my time of life, just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Just wait for the next thing to hop on.
Exactly.
Your,
Yeah. The
on
next
your
flag.
lap. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. The next bluff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we were just kind of listening to that. We were listening to the other podcast, Below the Frame, Matt Vogel's podcast, and Warwick was on it, and he was talking a little bit about that too. So people should definitely check that out if they get an
Oh,
opportunity.
yeah, it's a really good one, and he gives me a couple of mentions, which is nice. So I
Yeah.
do appreciate it. Thank you for the airtime, Warwick. If you're watching, he won't be watching. He never watches things that he's not in.
well, now we've talked about him, so now he's got to watch it, right?
He'll ask me for the time code, and then he can watch that bit.
Yeah.
I know what he's like.
That's funny. That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known Warwick for a long time. We first met about, oh my God, pushing 20 years ago. When was eBay new?
Oh gosh.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, probably about
Pushing
probably a
that,
little
isn't
more
it?
than 20 years ago. Yeah, probably about 20.
Yeah.
I would guess 24, 25 years ago.
Well, I think we met approximately about 20 because he bought a puppet off me off eBay that I put on donkeys years ago. And we got into, when he was a kid, he was still at school, certainly. So he was a kid then. And he bought one of my puppets off eBay, and we've been mates ever since. And we've done a lot of work together. We do a lot of Hacker and Dodge stuff together. We've done loads of series of Hacker and Dodge messing about. It's good
So you
fun.
did know him before you got hired to do
Yeah, a long
Hacker.
time. I knew him before he got hired by CBBC.
Oh, wow.
Because he was
okay.
there before me doing Outro, the cactus.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we'd known each other for years before, yeah. He
Oh,
bought me
my
off
God.
eBay
Yeah. Wow.
and left negative feedback. And he's been leaving negative feedback ever since.
And actually, I do want to hop into the eBay puppets and more of your building in just a moment. But before
Yeah,
that,
lovely.
I don't want to get too far away from just talking a little bit about your experience on the Dark Crystal.
It was good. It was good fun. I'd never worked on anything like that. It was crazy. It was like obviously, have you seen it?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a movie, isn't it? It was effectively a movie. A massive set, millions of cast. I think it was only 2 cameras though. There was a massive camera on a jib, and there was a steady cam. And a steady cam's not great for puppets, but anytime a puppeteer was in shot, CGI out after the fact. It was great fun, long days, heavy puppets. Got to work with some great people I've not worked with most of the performers on it. I'd worked with in some capacity over the years on Hacker things, because in Hacker time or whatever, we would get extra performers in to work with us on different bits and bats. So I worked with Ronnie before and Don Austin and loads of the British people. So it was nice to be all in the same room with them. We spent most of the time in the green room though, waiting to be called onto the stage because they would scenes took a long time. It was slow.
Yeah.
So we were sat around for hours in the green room just talking nonsense. So it was great in that sense.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And to get to have a look at the puppets up close was quite brilliant.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I
can
did
only
this.
imagine.
I did the scene in the crystal chamber, I think it was, when they put the cage over the head of the scientist and he gets his eye eaten out. Have you seen that bit?
Mhm.
I was doing the ritual master's hands when he was walking towards that other Skegsis with Victor Yerrid in the suit in the head.
Oh wow.
And I was
I
doing
thought
his
those
hands in
hands
that
looked
bit.
familiar.
Yeah.
Those are those bony, withered hands. So I did that shot. Plus, you end up doing podlings. I was doing podlings up on the balcony playing the piano. What else did I do? Because the scenes take so long. They do so many passes of different scenes. They'll swap out performers depending on who's nearer to camera generally.
Mm-hmm.
So in that one scene, I'm doing the hands of the ritual master in the close-up. I'm doing the podling keyboard player, and I think it might be in the mid shot or something. Then you end up doing something else in a different. So in one scene, you're playing 4 or 5 puppets because you've done so many passes of it, and they move you around depending on the strengths of the performer, nearer or further from camera.
Yeah, and it gets all chopped up in editing.
And then so when you watch, oh, that's me and that. But I'm that. I'll be honest though, I haven't watched it.
Oh, really?
No, because I put the first episode. I nodded off a little bit.
Did you even watch it Warwick style, just your timestamps?
No, because you don't know when you're. That's the problem. You don't know when you're on, so you just I didn't bother watching any of it. But I will watch it eventually.
Well, and with Warwick being the puppet captain, he probably put you as far back as he wanted to, right?
He's like, I don't want this guy to take my job for 12 more years.
He left me at home most of it.
Yeah, that's great. Oh my gosh!
But it was good fun. It was amazing to see it on the set. It was worth going just to wander about, really.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's got to be nice too to just be in that community with those other performers too.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It is quite a close knit community here, because you generally don't. And again, you don't really see the people until you're working on a project like that. Now, as hacker, and generally, I never work with other puppeteers much. I'm always on my own, unless we're doing a show like Hacker Time when we get 2 or 3 in. But I rarely work with other performers. It's always just me, really. So when you get thrown into a thing with, and some of those days there were 70 puppeteers on set.
Right.
Do you mean a crazy amount of people thrown in? And there's some of the days I did, there were 30 odd people thrown in. And I knew them all from bits and bats, but it is nice to all just have a chat and gather around and listen to Ronnie Lee Drew talk about Zippy again.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
But it's great fun. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Beats a real job, certainly.
Yeah. Oh, always, any day.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of that, since you say, you only work about 2 hours a day, that
2.5, don't understand. 2.5.
2.5 hours a day, though it is limiting in that you have to do it every day. You can't take on bigger other projects. However, that does give you a lot of time to work on other things during the day, which is where I imagine you do all of your building, because you are prolific builder.
I get up every day about 7 a.m. and I only go to CBBC at 3. I leave at 3 to get there for 4. I work 4 till about 6:30 or something. Wow. So I get a full day at home before I even go to work. So I'm fast puppet building wise. I can chuck them together in a day because I don't have the patience to dawdle. So I can just churn stuff out. I mean, you see it on Instagram. I throw things together and chuck them out daily.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was talking to Cam earlier. I think you've made more puppets than anyone I've ever seen.
It's an illness.
Yes, I have that illness too, but I think you've got a little bit more.
I can just do it. I've got the illness faster.
Yes.
I haven't got the patience to do it slower.
Yeah, you get a higher viral load of it.
I need to get this out today. Yeah, but no, I love it. I just love churning stuff out.
Yeah,
I made those banana splits in a week. I knocked those 4 puppets together in a week. We filmed the video, and recorded the audio, did the video, did the puppets, all within a week.
That's wild.
That's amazing.
As I said, when you get to my age, you've got to put the time in.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the character design and stuff, like, are those just things that you just come up with before you go into the building process, or are you kind of designing as you build?
More often than not, there's no design generally. 95% of the stuff I just start cutting and see what I end up with, and that'll do. That's the fun of it for me. As you probably will agree, Adam, when you get past the head, it's dull as dishwater.
Yes.
So often I make the head and think, oh, I can't be bothered finishing that off. And then you're going to make the down. And the worst bit is the hands. Oh, God.
I know.
Because they're all the same, but you have to do them. And oh, God. And then the arm rods. And that's like,
oh, my gosh.
There's nothing fun past the head.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've never heard someone else like say my feelings out loud like that. Yes, the hands are the worst. Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
If I could do them all with no hands, I'd be happy as Larry.
Yes.
If I can find an excuse to put less fingers on stuff,
take it.
I'm working on a new project now called the Gonks. Have you seen these?
Yes, yeah.
Notice that they've only got 2 fingers on a thumb.
Yes.
I'm not making 20 gonks and putting 5 fingers on them. I'll tell you now.
Yes, yeah, that's great.
So yeah, if you can keep things less is more. That's how much. Oh, less is more. Yeah, and it's easier.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Another thing I noticed that you seem to do in many of your characters is shading techniques. Now I know there's
Oh,
many
yes.
different ways to do it, adding different colors. Specifically, there's this one blue long guy with like the warts all over him. That's
I
got
won't
some
tell
really...
you his name. Is this a family show?
You could say it. I think I know what it is.
His name's Piss Stain.
Yes, yes, yes. That puppet.
Bleep it. You must bleep that in case any young ears watching. Piss Stain. His name's Piss Stain.
Yeah. What is that?
Piss Stain.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm currently, as we speak, working on a pilot with him for a TV show here with a character called the Burr. It used to be on a show called Bo Selector. Have you seen Keith Lemon in I don't know if you know Keith Lemon in America.
No.
But I'm currently working on a pilot with him and Piss Stain. That's his name. It's not just me being rude, and he's going to be in that.
Wow.
But the shading I use felt tip pens, Electroset Sharpies, Pro markers.
Yeah. That's what I often like to
ink.
use as well. I know there's a couple different techniques. Some people use chalk pastels. Some people use airbrushing. And honestly, same thing. One of my favorite things. It's not perfect for everything, but most things I like to do that as well.
Just put a bit of something. Airbrushing's all well and good, but then you've got to clean the thing at the end.
Yeah.
And you don't with the pens.
Yeah.
Anything that's easier, I will do.
Yeah.
I've got one here. Have you seen Wilf? Have you ever seen Wilf Bread Bin? One of my characters. The old man. I've got him here.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Yes, of course.
Oh, yes.
Hello, my name is Wilf. I am 100 years old and I've got bad lungs. But if you look at his eyes, got the shading round him.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Hello, thank you, Cameron. You're not so bad yourself, mate. Oh, I've got bad lungs. They're shot to pieces, Adam.
Yeah.
And he is Hacker's van driver, so he appears in Hacker's shows.
Oh, is
great.
he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the van driver, the caterer, the odd job man, and security guard, all for one fee. Hib, hib, hib. And that's my audition.
You know, another puppet that I just thought was such a fun design. I don't know what its name was. It's one where the mouth is the top of the head.
Oh yeah, Colin. What's it? Colin Cranium Mouth.
Colin Cranium. That was I saw that, like, what a out of the box idea.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
And
it's
it's
basically
beautiful too. It's
sadly, I've
beautiful.
not got him to hand, but to hand, very good. But you, so that is the top of the head.
Yeah.
So the rest of the head is here.
Yeah.
But the only downside with it is where your wrist becomes the neck.
Oh yeah.
You don't have that because it's lower down, so you can't really get much. But it is a weird one. But I don't use him very often. But it's a weird thing just to flash to. He's been on television as well. I use him on Hacker Time. He was following a fly. Zzz, then he'd eat it, and the shot was that he ate it with his hairline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So you're able to use a lot of these and incorporate them onto Hacker Time. That's great.
Yeah. The beauty of it's quite a unique. I suppose it's quite a unique life, really, because anything I knock up can potentially be on television that week or really quickly. It's unheard of. Nobody else gets that chance. It's really it's a really weird niche that you make for yourself, but you can just throw something together for a laugh on a Sunday and I'll put this on telly on Monday and bang, it's now on telly.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Holy
It's the best thing about the job, really. So Hacker Time is a sitcom we did, a sitcom stroke chat show, and it's Hacker's show. But it was populated by about 35 different puppets, which were all mine. So it's like watching the Muppet Show, but it's performed by just two of us, me and Neil Sterenberg. It was the scroll keeper.
Yeah.
So you've got all these great characters, which I still retain the rights to, but they're all on the television, and they've all got now got an audience and a platform. So I keep them all in the workshop. I also use them to rent out to other people who want to make a pilot or something, and they've not got the money for a commission. So it's a nice little business as well to just have these things that can go out, bring you some cash in, and you get them back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing. But I've got hundreds. As you say, I churn them out.
Yeah, I noticed that too. That's amazing that because so many people just build out of necessity, where you also seem like someone who just builds out of the love of building.
I love it. It's the only thing I'm really good at. It's funny, and I pride myself on the names.
Yeah,
and,
so well.
Oh, they're hysterical.
And the sort of weirdness, and you know as well, it's difficult. You've always got to try and be original and not be too Muppety, and it's so difficult that because you're using the same stuff, aren't you? Generally,
Yeah.
So you've got to sort of think. So I always try and do certain things. So I always put like a little light dot in the eyes, in the pupils, because the Muppets don't do that. And I always put these weird shading on because the Muppets don't do that. And I never really use red for the inside of the mouth because the Muppets do that. You know what I mean? You sort of think of little ways to make, because they're all this. When all said and done, they're all made out of foam and fleece, aren't they?
Yeah.
So what can you do?
Yeah, and especially too, like I talk about this a lot too. We're using generally like primary colors, primary shapes. How many round heads that are red are going to be? I mean, people are going to see similarities anyway.
Of course they are. It's a difficult one. It's a fine balance, that. So you've always got to find a way. I mean, I try and make mine original by giving them names like Piss Stain.
Yes. That's right. Well, actually, that brings me to another point too. One thing that we've seen that in your portfolios is many replicas that you've made as well.
Oh, hundreds. Yeah, I love just doing those because it's just fun to do them, and it's good to see if you. I think it's a good exercise in puppet building just to try and work something out that you've no access to beyond just a photo.
Yeah. Well, even especially because you were talking earlier about your kind of process for building. You're just kind of just seeing what comes out. When you're building a replica, you can't really do that. If you make it, let's say you accidentally take a chunk too much out of a carving of foam, you can make that into the design. Oh, I guess I'll do that on this side too. Make it symmetrical, and that's a head shape.
That's what you do with it. That's what you do with this original stuff. Most of it comes out of an error.
Yes.
Or you put a bit too much. You put too much ink on one side. You think, well, you've got to now repeat it on this, haven't you? Whatever.
Yeah.
But you're right, with the replicas, it's not quite the same. But
if there's a mistake in a replica, it's a mistake. You can't turn it into something. A design choice.
If it goes a mess in the skull stage, you can make it into an original one. You can just deviate, can't you? But when you get to the coverings, But I never really make mistakes, really.
Yeah.
And I never do mock-ups. I never make mock-ups. I always just jump in with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it never goes wrong, luckily.
Yeah, that's.
And again, that's more flukery.
Yeah. Wow. What do you do with your replicas? Do they
they're all just slung in boxes and stuff. Because I make them so fast.
Yeah.
I'll chuck it together in a day. Like I made Grover, for example. I made Grover in a day just for a laugh because I like Grover. I took some photos of it, and that's, so as far as I'm concerned. Now the photograph is the
final
art.
piece. Yeah.
Then you sling that in a box.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me what happens to it. Then I quite like. Then I put them on these Muppet forums on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I get. I mean, you must get this. You get millions of requests asking about, can you make me a Kermit? Can you do me this, that, and the other? And I don't make them for commission.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
No, never.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I quite enjoy saying no.
Yeah. No, that's why I like talking about it too, because I think there's a stigma a lot of puppet builders have about even making them at all.
It's nonsense.
And
just do what you want.
Do what you want, and again, as long as you're being like not selling them and whatnot. But like you mentioned, and for me, because I built replicas before I reached the age of reason, I like to say, and I realized it was not the best idea for me to do. But you're right. There's no better exercise for sharpening and honing your puppet building skills, because if it doesn't look like it, you have to adjust and learn more skills to make it look better.
I think it's a good exercise to do it because you've got no information beyond the photo normally, have you? I mean, you may have seen the Muppets in exhibitions and stuff, as I have, so you can see them. But prior to that, you just see a picture on the telly or something. You just got to plow in. But I think it's a good thing to do. Then you can knock up a variant and change the colours, and you've got an original character, haven't you? I mean, they're all versions of something else when all said and done.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not different from I was a painting not a painting major, but I did a lot of painting classes as a graphic design major in college and throughout high school, and you never shied away from having to do a replica of a Van Gogh painting just to learn those techniques and stuff, and that was never looked down upon. And it's the same type of thing in terms of puppet building. It's just,
now, I agree.
As Adam said, building those skills.
I think it's a valuable thing to do, and I don't see it hones your skills. I mean, I like doodling. I happily sit there and doodle Homer Simpson. It doesn't. Do you know what I mean? Who cares?
Right.
I'm not flogging it and claiming it to be a Matt Groening original.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I do understand that people are going to make money, and people do make Muppet replicas and sell them. Fair enough, but I don't, because I'm too close to it. in a sense. If you work in this business as I do professionally, you end up working with these people, and you don't want to end up becoming the bloke who ends up working with the Muppets, and then they say, "Oh, by the way, you were making money out of this." I never make any money out of the replicas, so I'm doing no harm, as far as I'm concerned. Because I mean, this is funny. Because I just said years ago, I made this Miss Piggy puppet out of envelopes. You can float the picture again if you like. There it is. And then 30 years later, I was assisting Eric Jacobson working with Miss Piggy on the Royal Albert Hall in London.
Oh wow!
And you don't expect that. It's extreme 30-year curve from A to B. It's madness.
Yeah. What an arc there.
But then I was showing Eric my replicas, and he was saying, "God, they're great then." So you always show them. I went to Puppet Heap a couple of years ago in New York when I was visiting. This year, in fact, it was February, and I was showing them all my replica photographs. Going, "Oh God, have you got Fozzie's fur that colour? We can't get that on the current one." I thought I just chucked it in the washer. You know what I mean?
we were actually just talking.
It.
We just talked to Eric Jacobson recently, and he was talking about how not upset, but how much he didn't like the new Fozzie fur on the Puppet Heap puppets, because it just was so different from the old ones.
You just can't get it, but you can sort of you can make it more like it, but. But then the funny thing is, they don't really rebuild them much. They just refurbish them. So that's the same Fozzie, which they never used to do, by the way. They used to use a different Fozzie every season of the Muppet Show. There was a different puppet in every film, several versions of each one, but different in every film. They've used the same two now for the last, 10 years?
Yeah.
They don't replace them these days. They just refurb. Because I tried that Fozzie on when I went to Heap. The one that Eric, and it's huge and it stinks and it's, you know what I mean? Damp and weird.
I want to get a little more nitty gritty into some of the building stuff and talk about some of the materials that you use. What type of foam do you use?
I use reticulated foam all the time, but I don't use the open pore stuff. I don't know if you can get it in America, but where I get mine stuff from London, they do one that's 80 ppi. So it's very dense. It's smooth. It glues really well. The bubbles in it are tiny, and it just lasts. It just lasts for years. It's brilliant. It doesn't break down. I've used it for years. It's great stuff. That I use the open pore, which is I think is 30 ppi or something. Is it?
Yeah.
I use that when I'm doing a carved nose or horns for the outside, because I like the texture of it. That looks nice, but it doesn't last as long. But again, I've still got puppets. I've got puppets that I've used that on that are about 15 years old, and it's still as good as new. So they don't. I mean, what can you do? The fur will go filthy before the foam falls apart, won't it?
Yeah. Same for your fleeces and furs that you use too.
I use the Antron. I've still got tons of the old Antron that I bought about 20 years ago.
Oh my God!
From
that's gold, man.
It is, but you always think, "Oh, I'll not use that for this one. I'll save that." But what are you going to save it for?
You
end up with loads. You don't use it. It's madness. Yeah, I'll leave it to you.
Thank you.
So I got tons of the old Georgia stage stuff when it was really shiny and Velcro stuck to it, and it was great.
I also wanted to talk about your eBay. But do you still sell stuff on eBay often?
I haven't for years because I never get the time, but I keep meaning to. I did knock up a few practice puppets last year, which were basically like your little Sesame Street AMs.
Yeah.
I was going to chuck out a few of them for practice ones, but I've never had time. There's
you
never
say you
time.
don't have the time. That's because that's just, you mean just the time to list them on eBay, because you're clearly making them.
Yeah. There's no fun in that.
Yeah, I know there is. Right. It is the most. I've sold things on eBay before too, and it is grueling just putting the listing up. It's like, oh gosh.
I can't be bothered. I used to do it when that was what I did. I made quite a good living doing eBay back in the day before I started doing Hacker, but I can't be bothered now. I keep meaning to do it. I've got good intentions.
I'm right with you. People keep messaging me. I say, oh, probably in the next month or two. I've been saying that for like 2 years now.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yes, I've got this great idea.
Yeah, so do I.
I'll need someone else to do it.
Yes, yeah.
So I frankly can't be bothered.
Yeah.
But I will, viewers, I will list some eBay things before I perish.
Stay tuned. We'll share it. So that's amazing. And also another thing I just wanted to point out too. You mentioned it very briefly, but a lot of your, not all, but many of them have that sculpted face, like you were saying. I know there's one with like a big kind of trunk looking like thing.
Yes, Snodgrass. That yeah,
that's right. What What is your inspiration for when you decide to make one with a carved face versus a more fleece covered? It's just whatever you feel like that day, or
yeah, whatever I feel like that day, whichever's nearest to me. If the foam's closer that day, I'll do that. That one was inspired by Meet the Feebles, which is my favorite film.
Oh yeah.
And that was just inspired to be a Meet the Feebles-esque puppet.
Yeah.
Meet the Feebles does not get the love it deserves. It is the greatest puppet film ever made.
It is. It really is amazing. And I've been trying to have someone on the podcast who worked on building those puppets. And I would love it.
It is. I've got a picture of Wobbert, the hedgehog, up here in this room, actually, behind me. Can you see him?
Just out of view. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Up there, yeah.
Oh,
I love it. It gets knocked a lot, but it is, I think, for a film that interweaves so many different people's storylines in one cohesive film, it's brilliant. And it's done in real time, so I think it's all set in one day. I know the puppetry's hit and miss, but I mean, if you get past that, it's excellent.
Yeah.
I can't big it up enough. I've got about 5 copies of it on DVD. I keep getting a different version of it every time it comes out with a slightly different cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're working on the Blu-ray of it as we speak. Are
they really?
It up. Yeah, doing a 4K version. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I can't wait. That's what Peter Jackson's up to at the minute. Yeah.
When we first started the podcast, I don't know if even you remember, Cam. One of the first people that I wanted to talk to, I did some research. Like, I gotta find out who did these puppets and stuff. And looking up stuff, the name I found was I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Cameron Shintock. I think it is Chittock. And he's like credited as the puppet builder, I believe. And there's some behind the scenes footage. And I messaged him. He said, oh, I'm not doing puppet stuff anymore. My career's in different direction. And I was like, well, that's okay. We'll talk about that too. Like, we just want to, so I'm really hoping. I haven't messaged him in probably like 2 years.
Oh,
but I'm going to message him
again. That'll be a good one. It's such a great film. There's such great characters. They're strong visuals, aren't they? There's such great designs. That's another thing. That's a big influence on me, actually. That I remember pirating that in about 1989 when I rented it off from the video shop, and I did a rip-off pirate copy, and I watched it to death.
Yeah,
it's just the best.
No, it's especially the way I feel like that's what the Happy Time Murders was kind of trying to aspire to be a way of just trying to take that influence from the Muppets and all the Henson stuff, but just really turning it on its head there's some scenes
in that are directly lifted from Feebles, really. I mean, the bit with the cow backstage making that film, and then there's the drug addict one. It's just exactly like the Feebles. You can't better the Feebles, so don't try, really. It's the best.
Yeah.
So I rip it off by doing those foam puppets.
Yeah, and I think that was a Peter Jackson film too, and he's really gone on to some big things. Right?
He's working on
understatement.
He's working on doing Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Brain Dead, which were his first 3 films, as big new cleanup, because the prints are always naff, even on the official ones. They're always a bit grainy, but they're going to clean it up and bring it out 4K, hopefully.
Wow, holy cow!
It's exciting, isn't it?
I haven't watched that in a while. I got to rewatch that.
You must
remember the first
that.
time my buddy Zach Homiser, who's people who are a fan of the podcast will know him. He's one of my puppet partners. We've done tons of shows, but actually the most live shows I've ever performed, all the elementary schools, kind of like you're saying, were with him. And he introduced me to that. He's like, you got to check out Meet the Feebles. I'm like, what is it? This is like 10 years ago. And I'm like, what is that? And I watched it. I was actually honestly a little mortified at first when I saw it. There's some moments in there that are actually like, I mean, to say it's gritty is an understatement. Like, it's like if I was a kid, I probably would have never been the same if I watched it when I was young.
I did watch it when I was a kid, and I'm not the same.
Yes. Oh, well, you know what? Maybe that explains. Maybe I wish I did watch it.
I watched it when I was about 12 or something, and I've watched it regularly about 2 or 3 times a year ever since. More often. I love it. It's the best.
Yeah.
And Nick loads of voice. I mean, Pistane's voice, for example. His voice is from that. It was Dr. Quack. Do you remember the doctor, the duck? No. Who says, "Hi, Harry, I've received your test results, and guess what?
Oh, yeah.
I made a boo-boo." That voice is nicked from him.
Wow. Holy cow.
Borrowed. From him.
Yes, that's right. Borrowed.
If Peter Jackson's watching.
That's about right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Does that end up being your inspiration for the other characters that you perform, as like pulling things from movies
Meet the
and
Feebles is
television?
definitely one of my biggest influences for everything I do. So I generally will go on there and pilfer of Wilf Bredbin, the old man. Then his voice is more or less Arthur the Worm from Meet the Feebles.
Okay.
He's got your eyes, Sid.
Yeah.
It's all pilfered. If you're going to nick stuff, nick it from something that no one's seen.
Yes.
That's my motto.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
That is a valuable lesson, viewers. If you're going to get into this business, pilfer from things that no one has seen.
Yeah. You know, it's funny to say a lot of things do that. Like even the new, relatively new Joker movie that came out. People are saying that's just like a straight ripoff of what was it, Taxi or something?
Taxi
like
Driver.
That? Taxi Driver.
Well, it's not dissimilar to King of Comedy, really. Which another De Niro film.
Of course, yeah.
It's very much, but he's in it. I think that's the reason he's in it, because he knows that it's a spoof of what he already did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everything's been done, so don't worry about it. Just do it again.
Just do it again. That's right. Yeah. Everyone, yeah. If they liked it the first time, they gotta like it the second time,
Well,
right?
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Stick to what you know. Wow. Holy cow.
It's been good. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I was worried about doing it, and I was dreading it a little bit.
Were you
Dreading doing this?
I'd get nervous on camera. I never do stuff in vision unless I'm dressed as Keith Teeth or something.
Oh yeah, you know what? What is that exactly?
It's just an excuse to do things on camera that means I don't have to put my arm in the air.
Yeah.
So
is that on
a wig and tee? I use Keith on television quite often. Yeah.
Okay. Keith. Yeah.
When they get me, they get all of my.
They get the whole package.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good business. Good value.
Yeah. That's because I didn't know how to bring this up, but
Nobody does.
So Keith, yes, nobody does. No, but you seem to do interesting things that are, I would say, puppet adjacent. Like like that. And there's this other thing, I don't know what it's from. I think, was it in a movie, that big head? Frank
Sidebottom.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that is a replica of Frank Sidebottom. Is in England is an old 80s and 90s TV comedian character. He's dead now. He died about 10 years ago. Chris Seavey, who played him, but they did make a film that's based on him loosely called Frank with Michael Fassbender.
Mm-hmm.
But I, in real life, worked with the original Frank Sidebottom for years. Me and him used to do a lot of telly together and radio, and I used to drive him to his gigs because he was sort of a stand-up comic. So I made that replica head just because I'm a big fan of Frank's, and I knew him. So I occasionally pop it on and do a couple of photos because it's nice to remind people that he was around. A round head, certainly.
Yeah. What does Keith Teeth do?
Keith, I use him on TV a lot. He does a show called the Keith Teeth Show on YouTube, and I've just started doing a Keith Teeth's film review. So I'm going to film it in here. Oh my
gosh, that's a great idea.
I think so.
That's going to be huge.
I've got loads of crap films in here that you can review. Like I've got Monstered.
Oh God,
I've never heard of that.
Well, you won't need to because you can watch the review.
You know what it sounds like? Dude, one of my favorite YouTube channels. Are you familiar with Red Letter Media?
I'm not. No.
Check them out. I mean, I'm not saying what you would be doing as a copy of them, but I can definitely see.
If I watch them, it will be.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, they do this series called Best of the Worst, where they just watch these awful movies and they just talk about them. It's kind of interesting, and it kind of, I could see almost like a parody version of that in some way.
Because I watch awful movies every day, but just don't film me watching them.
That's right. Well, there's money to be made there, my friend. There's money to be made.
I'm keeping more bunts, yeah.
That's right. Oh,
so I'm going to do Keith's film review. That's the plan. Oh and I do another character called Barry Thumbs, and Barry will appear in that with Keith. And he wears a Burberry cap and a loud anorak and a Hitler mustache. You may have seen him on Assorted Things. Yeah. He's also been on the telly. I use all these characters in Hacker Time.
Oh, really? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, they let me do anything, really. I get away with murder.
I was going to say, there's just no rules on that show.
No, well, I think if they've got me, they've got everything I can bring to it. It's good value.
Right. Well, you know, it kind of reminded me, too, is you're just producing so much on that show that, like, it's like people are always looking for the best idea, and after 12 years, you're looking for any idea.
Yeah,
right?
any idea, yeah. Or just go back to the beginning and hope the audience has changed, which luckily with kids telly, the audience changes.
Yeah,
so you can churn out this. I mean, Hacker talks about Sue Barker or whatever forever, but the punters change. So you can really recycle stuff. It's good for the environment.
Well, he's not for kids though, is he?
Yeah, it's kids channel, the Hacker, yeah.
Oh, he's very.
But I'm not one for doing it namby-pamby. I mean,
yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, again,
I've
only seen clips, and I wouldn't have necessarily assumed it was.
We're meant to be for 6 to 12-year-olds, really. But I've got to make it amusing. After 12 years, I've got to be amused by it myself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Otherwise, it drives you mad. I'm not one for all this namby-pamby kids telly, unless you're spoofing it.
Yeah. And just to go back to that point again, I think I would give that advice to anybody, because so many people try to be perfectionists and they want to get the script just right and they want to get that performance just right. And it's just like, just put stuff out, and there's.
I am not a perfectionist in any way, but luckily the stuff I do is perfect. But I don't strive for it. It'll do.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
absolutely.
you can faff around for things. Some things you can sort of faff with things and they never are finished. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like things to be done and then it's done.
Yeah, there's a point of diminishing return. It's like, I think it's called like the 80% rule. If you can get 80% there, just move on, because that last 20% is only probably 2% of the final product, the people that are actually absorbing in. It's just it's wasted efforts that you could just put into into the
next thing,
into the next whole thing. Yeah, exactly. So,
you can overthink stuff. I never overthink stuff. It's not what I do.
Yeah,
it'll do. I never do 2 takes, as I say. It's just to make it work in the edit.
Yeah,
and we're live.
And we're live. That's great. That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah,
I love it.
No, but also, do you want to see Hacker? I've got him with me.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
I never leave home without him. He's like a Barclay card. Plus, I'm still at home, so I've not left you.
Right.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Hello, Cameron. Hello, Adam. Hey, you're right, cockers. It is I, Hacker the Dog, from the telly. You may have seen me with Jim Carrey, because I know him. So there.
That's right. Oh my gosh, he's great.
Good,
how is his? Is there a mechanism in there? Is there a mechanism?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh,
so expressive.
Yeah. There's a hole in my head and there's a finger in it like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm low tech, cocker. Low tech and low quality.
Oh gosh,
but it's nice to be on your podcast. I like it. Is it on iTunes? Is it on iTunes?
It's on everything.
iTunes and YouTube.
Yeah, actually, we just got on. We're on Audible podcast now too, officially.
This is on Audible. Hey, my YouTube stuff just got 1 million views the other day, and I've got 150,000 Instagram followers. Losers. I've enjoyed that, but I'm going to go now because I don't like puppets. Goodbye.
Bye, Hacker.
See ya.
Wow.
Who was that? Yeah, he's got a hole in his head, so it's built in that way, so that finger is up all the time.
Was that hole put there, or did you?
Oh no, it's always there.
Okay.
I can't take any credit for it. It's what Neil calls the Sterren brow.
Yeah.
And that is how he works. So it's like a thimble inside his head. So there's no mechanism in per se. There's nothing in it. There's no wires or anything.
Right.
Yeah, it's what I just love about that puppet so much, and you do it so well too. I mean, the whole thing is just so. It's in a lot of ways, it's like Kermit in a lot of ways. It's so flexible.
He's brilliant puppet, and the longer you use him, the better he gets, and he gets to a sweet spot where he's brilliant, and then he falls apart. So there's a little moment when he's at his best, and then the next minute he's gone.
Yeah. So when you get those new puppets, do you end up having to break them in a little bit?
They're so stiff.
Yeah,
because everything's just rigid. So I always like to squeeze him about a bit and chuck him around, and I always trim his fur a bit to give him a bit more definition. I like to sculpt a smile into his face with the fur. So Neil leaves it long, and then I just ruin it.
Yeah,
and just crunch him up a little bit. Yeah.
Perhaps it's just because of the pandemic, but it seemed like the fact that you have them here, and it seems like you can kind of do whatever you want with them.
I don't ask. I just don't ask them.
I was gonna say, from what I understand, in most American productions, it's like, oh no, these are not our characters. We don't, we can't do this. I can't do whatever I want with them. And
I'll do it. I don't ask.
That's right.
I find it's better to apologize later than ask for permission first.
Yes. I kind of live by that.
To be fair, no one at the BBC is watching this show.
No. They might watch this bit if I send them the time code.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But I've always got him with me anyway, because you never know at what point you're going to get a call to say, oh, can you just do a video for some kid, or can you just do a quick thing for XYZ? So I always keep him around.
Yeah.
So then are you actually responsible for maintenance of this character as well?
Well, I'm not responsible for it, but I do it. Yeah. Because I can. So
does someone else have a formal job to do that, or part of their...
I dare say you'd send it back to Neil. Probably you'd send him back to Neil to be fixed or to modify, but I never do, because I just do it myself. Yeah. But Warwick will send Dodge back to Neil. If Dodge needs any maintenance, Neil will do it, because Warwick's not a builder or anything. But I just do it because I can. You know what I mean? What's the
So do you have a puppet wrangler on set?
No, not on CBBC. No, I do everything myself.
Yeah. Wow.
On the shows, when we do Hacker Time, we'd have like an art department who will build the props and bring them over. But I'll generally attach them to him because I can do it better. I just can do it better, so I do it myself.
Yeah, your own puppet wrangler.
You don't have
like most people.
No. Yeah, no, we don't have any of that here, really.
Yeah, interesting. Wow.
But I get the bloke who makes all my shirts to make Hacker shirts, so we both have bespoke shirts all the time.
Oh yeah,
that's brilliant.
That's you actually. I assumed that you made them too.
No, God, no, I'm too idle. Too much faffing with all this business. No. I just pay somebody else to do it.
That's right.
That's the perks of the BBC money.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can write it off too, just like
stage wear.
Just like your coat hanger, right?
Yes, exactly. And that mirror, that shaving mirror, it's a monitor.
Yeah. Does one other question about Hacker? Does Neil end up like building multiples at a time? Because I know sometimes one of the hardest things to do is like to have to remake a puppet and make it look identical.
Oh well, it never looks identical. Sometimes he'll generally do, as a rule, every build he'll do 2, and those 2 are always identical.
Yeah,
but they're not identical to the last 2.
Got it.
They're different every time because the patterns change. Every time he draws around the pattern with the pen, it gets a bit more knackered. So over the 12 years, the patterns deviate a little bit. Yeah. Plus the fur. His fur is made in America by NFT. Have you heard of those guys?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
National Fiber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do like they make the Wookiee fur and what have you, Chewbacca stuff. So the fur is woven every batch. It's woven to a backing, so the fur is never the same as the previous batch, because whoever makes it is like a different staff, or they can't quite get the right colors in, so it's never the same.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
Wow, that's crazy. They use National Fiber technology.
It's expensive.
It is. Yeah. I think I remember looking up something at one point just for stuff that they have left over of
exactly. But and it's still
like
pretty steep, isn't it?
$60 a foot, a square foot, not a yard.
Oh my God.
Not a yard, a square foot, and that's some of the cheap stuff.
No.
Yeah, that's some of the cheap stuff.
Yeah, you can't make anything with a square foot.
Yeah.
But Hacker's fur is thousands of pounds per roll, and the roll you can get about 2 or 3 hackers, I think. Yeah. But he's on television every day, so he's a TV.
Oh yeah, it's a good investment. Right. And again, you can't argue with the result. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks great. It does the job, but I wouldn't spend that on fur to make my rubbish out.
Yeah. Oh, actually, just out of curiosity, because we've talked about your puppet building and you building replicas. Has anyone ever built a replica of Hacker that you've seen? Like I don't know.
I'd like that. I would like them to have. Yeah, I've never seen one.
Yeah,
that's something I would like to see. We get often people send in pictures that they made a scarecrow of him or something for a scarecrow festival, or they make cakes out of him out of meat paste or other god awful things. But I'd love to see a replica Hacker. Yeah,
sounds like a job for Adam Krutinger.
Yeah, I'd love that. Do a video. In fact, I might do one.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be great.
I might do it this afternoon.
Do it. That's right. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, that's great.
But he is a great puppy. The fur that he's made from does the job. Because he's meant to be a real dog. He's not really a Muppety dog.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll show you. His nose is sculpted. So his nose is latex. His jaw, his lip, and his tongue and teeth are all sculpted and latex. The eyes are glass taxidermy eyes. So they've got a lovely sheen to them.
Yeah.
And there's this fur.
Oh, it's just
And his
beautiful.
Fur is great.
And his little pads, his paw pads are all sculpted. He's even got little feet with his paw pads on his feet as well. You never see those.
Just beautiful.
Yeah, and whenever you do get a rebuild of Hacker, do they also make Work's character at the same time?
Not necessarily. Depends how
worn out
knackered
they are.
dodges. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think there's been about 9 dodges over the years. There's been 15 hackers, I think.
Yeah.
That's how it rolls. He lasts quite well, but so when you do telly every day under the lights, he just goes knackered in the mouth,
Right.
Yeah.
as we all do.
Yes.
you definitely all too. Wow.
Beautiful.
I've enjoyed this. Have you enjoyed it? Has it been useful, this?
Oh, this has been incredible.
This is
You
yeah.
liked
I
it?
can't thank you
I
enough
was
for
worried.
this.
I was worried that it was going to be dull as dishwater.
it's definitely not Dollar's dishwasher. No.
No, but we'd love to ask something that we ask everybody who comes
yes.
on the show is if you have a good puppeteers story of a time when things didn't go right in the moment, either on set or in the workshop, that you could kind of look back now and have a good laugh about.
Well, doing live telly every day, things go wrong every day, and they're live on the television, so you can't do another take. So there was several of these things. One, I was doing Hacker on CBBC with Ian Sterling. It's on YouTube, this, in fact. And we're doing this thing, this sending, where kids can send in their homework problems, and we'd answer their homework question, help them out with this homework. So Ian, the presenter, Hacker the dog there. And behind Ian is a full-size medical skeleton dressed as a professor. So we're going, yes, so if you do X, Y, Z and blah, 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 blah. And on the monitor I'm watching, I can see this skeleton's quivering a little bit here, quivering. And the bloody thing falls down and lands on me. And I'm going, ah! And it drags Hacker down behind the desk. And I'm going, oh, Ian! And live on telly, by the way. A medical skeleton is very heavy. Has that ever landed on you?
No, but
Never landed on
I've
me.
had to move them before.
They're heavier than you think when they are hurtling towards you and your arms are up, so you can't stop it because your arms are up in the air.
Yeah.
And it hurt. But on the upside, they've shown that clip loads of times on British television within blooper shows. So it's good exposure on terrestrial in the long term. So
It's
that
probably
is
a very
puppeteer
popular
story.
GIF somewhere.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can look it up.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah,
one
you'll have to
was-
send us the clip.
I will do. I'll send you all the clips. Another one we were doing Hacker's Book of Made Up Words, and kids sent in made up words, and we would then a meaning for the word, and we put it in this book. So one kid would send in like gob rocks, and we'd say, oh, what does it mean? And they go, gob rocks is teeth, so they call teeth gob rocks. Great, put it in the book. Blah blah blah. This book on the table, a massive, big, heavy tome, falls off, lamps me right on the head.
Oh.
As you can see, I don't have the padding there anymore as what I had when I was a youth. And I'm going, Ian, it landed right on me foot. Again, they've shown that clip loads on British television. So it's nice to get exposure for things landing on your head. As a puppeteer, you can attest to this, Adam. Things just fall on you all the time.
Oh,
Yes, they do.
absolutely.
And you don't have hands available to stop things.
No, you don't. Yeah.
That's the curse of
even if
puppeteer.
you fall over, you can't catch yourself either.
You fall off your trolley because the wheels get caught and you're trying to drag yourself around.
Yeah.
You get things land on you. People spill tea on you. People dribble on you.
Yeah.
You do. That's the thing. Anybody who's a puppeteer, you just get spat on.
Yeah. Oh
And
my
that is-
gosh.
Absolutely.
So-
That's great. We can't wait.
Remember that, kids?
Yeah. Can't wait to see that. But oh yeah, and what's the best way for people to follow your work? Because you've got
Well, if you
content.
if you want to watch any more of what I do after watching this nonsense for so long, you can catch me on Instagram at Phil Fletcher Official. You can follow Hacker the Dog on Instagram at Hacker the Dog. Hacker T Dog. You'll put the link, won't you? I said it wrong.
Oh yeah,
there.
it's all right in front of you now.
It's in front of you now, isn't it? It's at @HackerTDog, or you can keep up to date on my fantastic band, the Pound Shop Boys, at Pound Shop Boys.
Excellent.
Wow.
Which is because our fantastic albums available, and we've got a new album out soon, which the next album we're going to do on vinyl by Jingo.
Oh, very cool.
Wow. Awesome.
Retro. I'll send you a
Love
copy.
Great. Yeah, we'd love
Very
to.
cool.
Do you have a
album-
website too?
No, I don't know how to work one. My website's been dead for about 15 years.
Oh.
It's
So
just the
abandoned
eBay
that.
page.
It's just-
It's the eBay page. You can get me
Yeah.
on MySpace. I'm on the
Well, I just want to know. I want to make sure people can be able to contact you, so you can tell them that you won't build them a replica.
Oh, yeah.
and that
I'll
the
do
eBay
that.
puppet's coming out in 2 months, but it's not going to be out for a couple of years.
They will anyway. But you can catch me on Instagram at Phil Fletcher Official. You can catch Hacker the Dog on Instagram at HackerTDog. And you can catch Pound Shop Boys on Instagram at Pound Shop Boys. It's all worth a follow. And I thank you for your support.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show.
I've
Phil.
enjoyed
is
this. That's been
amazing.
good, this.
Yes.
It's so
no,
glad to
I mean,
hear.
we'll,
No, this
we'll
was
definitely have
excellent.
to have you back on again in the future too. Tell
I'm
us about more of
available.
your shenanigans.
I'm available. Who do I invoice? Do I invoice you directly, Adam?
That's right.
Send him the link.
I
That's
shall.
right.
Yeah, well, I thank you for having me on. I've enjoyed that.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. We're at the end of another episode of Puppeteers, but the fun doesn't stop here.
Visit puppeteers.com for show notes and links to projects mentioned in this episode.
Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at PuppeteersPod, where we're posting new things every day.
Puppeteers is edited by Matt Bowen and made possible thanks to viewers like you.
If you enjoy this content, you can join our incredible Patreon patrons who are supporting the show for as little as $1 per episode. Those folks get access to early releases, uncut episodes, official Cup O tiers just like we use on the show, and can even submit interview questions for our guests. Go to patreon.com/puppeteerspod to learn more.
Another great way to support Puppeteers is rating and reviewing us on iTunes, leaving a comment or subscribing to this channel, or tell a friend about your favorite episode.
Thanks again for joining us on Puppeteers Puppetry Shop Talk, in-depth interviews with the world's most passionate puppeteers.
Hosted by me, Adam Krutinger.
And me, Cameron Garrity.
I'll have you know you are a highly requested guest.
Well, then you must be struggling. I don't know why. I'll do my best to make it funny, at least.
It's going to be great.
Because you won't. You won't.
I've got
learn.
good vibes already. Do you, Cam?
I've got those, but that's the beer.
Okay.
I'm on my third pint.
Now I have more questions. Get rid of my notes.
You don't need those.